What's up guys, Leaman Griffin here, coming at you with another YouTube video tutorial. In today's video we're going to be talking about layers in Adobe Photoshop. And Photoshop uses layers to build images different than some basic programs like Microsoft Paint and whatnot. Photoshop uses layers to break apart the images so you can have different aspects of the image and move them around independently, change them independently, do different things to them, and then stack them together to make your overall image. And what we're going to start off with is adding layers, and we've got a picture here, a sample picture brought up, and as you can see over here in the layer window, it is just a background layer, and it's locked being a JPEG. So what we're going to do, we're going to go up here to the layer menu up at the top, drop down, we're going to go new layer, and then you can title the layer whatever you want. You can create the opacity, make it see-through, whatnot. Just do a normal layer, we'll just call it layer 1. Everything's fine. So now we are working on a layer directly above the background image. So if I were to take the paintbrush here and draw a black swipe across the image, I can go over here to the layer menu and you can see that it is on top of the image and not part of the image. So if I click this eyeball here, and this is the visibility of the layer, I can remove it very simply without messing with my actual image. So that right there is how you add a layer. There's also, you can, when you select text and you put text block into a picture, it'll automatically add a layer. You can see here now is layer 2 and it's a text block, so you can type what you want. It's actually a really small format right now. We'll bring it up and make it a lot bigger. So you can see there, you can type what you want, move it around, do whatever you want with it, and it's on top of it. So now obviously I don't want all this stuff, so I'm going to remove the layer. So I'll select my selector tool here and I'll go to the layer I want. And like I said earlier, there's two ways to remove a layer. You can disable it to where you're not going to see it by unselecting this, and the layers go away, but they're still there, so if you want to bring them back you can and move them around, do whatever you want with them. But we don't want to do that, so we'll right click here and we're going to go delete layer. Yes, and then we'll click our next layer. Make sure the correct layer is highlighted. You don't want to accidentally delete the wrong layer. A lot of people do this, don't show again. I like to leave it just in case I accidentally click the wrong thing. I've got another thing coming up saying, are you sure that's what you want to do? So we deleted our layers now, and now we're going to show you rearranging layers. So let's go in here and let's draw right here. Oh, we did that on the background, so let's edit undo. That's another way to back up without having to mess with the layer. So we'll go layer, new, layer. Okay, now we're working with a new layer. We'll do this, and let's create another layer, layer 2, and let's grab some red, or yellow, red, whatever, it doesn't matter. And let's draw that. So we have two layers on top of our original background layer, and if you do not make a selection as to where the layer goes, it will automatically put it on top of the layer that is already selected. So if I were to select background and go add new layer, it's going to put it directly on top of background but under layer 1 and 2. So to rearrange that, to make different things on different layers, you can click the layer and you can hold down your mouse and actually drag it until it's highlighted where you want it. So if I want the black to go on top of the red now, and I'll let go here, and bam, the black moves to the top of the red. If I want to select layer 3 and add something to it, that was probably not a good example because it's the same color. Let's make it white, right? Add something to that layer and drag it to the very top. I can do that. The only thing you can't do is the background layer because it is locked. You cannot move it. It is the background. That's what it is. So that's rearranging layers. Now we have layer opacity, and I'm going to show you this, a cool way to use this. Let's go ahead and delete these layers. And once they're deleted, I'm going to create, well, we'll leave this layer, and I'm going to go ahead and just delete the brush strokes. There we go. Now what I'm going to do in another video, I've got where I show you how to crop and grab certain aspects of your image. So what I'm going to do here, let's say you wanted to tint the headlights. You wanted to make the headlights a darker color, but obviously you don't want to just paint them black. You want to still preserve the realness of the image and have it look realistic. So let's grab the headlights here. Let's just select them, and we're in a new layer. We're not going to actually do anything with the original image. That way you preserve its originality, so if you need to go back to what it was before, you don't have to go back and undo a bunch of stuff. So we've selected the area of the headlight, but on the layer on top. Now that that's selected, we're going to grab this, and we'll grab our paint bucket tool, and we're going to click here and select black, and we will fill this in. So now we have a solid black rectangle over top of our headlight, and we're going to click this and deselect so we don't have to do that anymore. And you can see it is directly on top of it. You can move it around, do whatever you want with it. We'll put it right back where it was, somewhere in that area. That looks good. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now we're going to go over here to where you see the layer opacity, and we're going to click it, and let's drag it down to about 50%. And you can see what it does right off the bat. Let's go back out to fit on screen. Right off the bat, it takes and it makes it a transparent black instead of a solid black, so you can actually see the image behind it, and it just looks tinted. So that's a quick way to do image transparency if you want to do some sort of overtone or something on top of your image that you still want to be see-through, so where you can see what's behind it. And you can obviously adjust it more or less than that. And fill, to me, fill does the same thing. If I were to go 100% opacity and then I did 50% fill, to me, I can't tell the difference. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. You guys can comment if you know more about this and tell me what the difference is, but as far as I'm concerned, 50% fill, 100% opacity is the same thing as 50% opacity, 100% fill. So there you go. Duplicate layers. Let's say I had another one that I wanted to be exactly like this, and obviously it's quicker to duplicate the layer than it is to just create a new layer and do all the same effects. So we'll go to the layer we want to duplicate, make sure it's selected, we'll right click and we'll go duplicate layer, and we're going to call it layer 2 copy. We'll click OK, and now it looks like it got darker, but that's because the other transparent layer is directly on top of it. So obviously this isn't the right shape, but if you did have multiples, you could click it, drag it down, and now you have two of the same layer with the same effects, exact same percentage. Everything is identical about the layers. So there you have it. That's a basic working with layers in Adobe Photoshop. That should get you started in understanding how Photoshop builds its images. Now when you save the image, when you're done working with it, if you go to File and go to Save As, if you save it as a PSD, a Photoshop file, it will maintain the layers. And you see how where it says Save option, you can select layers. It will maintain the layers so that in the future you can open it back up and change certain aspects about it. Now if you want to save this as an image, if you go down to JPEG here and save it as a copy image, it will not maintain the layers. You see that's not selected. It will actually grab the layers, flatten them all out into one layer, and call that your final image. So if you want to make it editable in the future, be sure and save it as a PSD file and not a JPEG. So we're going to cancel here, and that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned, subscribe to my channel. We're going to have more videos coming on Adobe Photoshop and many more products. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.